Hi, I'm Bob Wolf, innovator of U-Cut, the Universal Custom Trim Kit. U-Cut is a unique, revolutionary new product that allows you, the consumer, to design, pattern, and install your own custom truck accessories at a fraction of the cost of traditional pre-cut kits.
U-Cut is made from a patented flexible bright chrome finished plastic with a unique high-tech adhesive that is specially designed to be forgiving and yet permanent after a short setup time.
Well, now you know about U-Cut. Let's start with the first step, which is designing your pattern.
Let's go over a few of the tools you're going to need to produce an accurate pattern. First, you're going to need your pattern material for the U-Cut, which comes with your U-Cut kit in the box. You're going to need a sharp pair of industrial scissors. You're going to need some masking tape. You're going to need a small piece of sandpaper, a straight edge, a tape measure, and most importantly, an indelible marker. In the aftermarket trim industry, this is known as the rocker panel. What I'm doing now is I'm placing the pattern material in the desired area where I'd like to create the rocker panel pattern. I'm beginning to tape it in place so that as I begin to trace, the product stays and I'm able to trace cleanly.
Now that our pattern's in place, I'm going to go ahead and make an impression using the body line as my guide. That guide will give me the correct contour and radius that I'll use later and trace to get my lines. Now, on some parts you're going to want to use your straight edge. On straight edges can be put against body lines to determine if it's a straight or radius cut. In this case, it's a straight cut, so I'm going to use my straight edge and draw a straight line, 1/8 of an inch back from the body line. One important step in designing your pattern is to identify the parts. In this case, we're going to mark top for top of the part and which side of the vehicle we're working on. Driver, we're going to go ahead and abbreviate DR. Right now I'm hand tracing over the impression I made on the front of the door, preparing it to be cut. When cutting your pattern material, never close your scissors completely. Use half cuts. That'll prevent shedding and shredding. For that finished factory look, you're going to want to trim the corners of all your pattern material. Just simply snip the corners of the material and then use your sandpaper to gently smooth out and round out the radius. Now that you've completed your U-Cut patterns, one final step is necessary. Make sure to take each part and check them on the vehicle to make sure they fit. Make sure that your completed pattern pieces have at least an 1/8 inch reveal on either side of paint showing. The purpose behind the 1/8 inch reveal is when opening doors, we want to make sure that we have proper clearance. Okay, now it's time to go ahead and trace your pattern onto the U-Cut material. To maximize the material, make sure that you bring your pattern to the very edge. It's also important to make sure that your material is square and level so that your tracings are accurate. Each time you trace a part, make sure that you transfer the information that's on the pattern to the finished material. Once you've completed tracing the driver's side of the vehicle, simply flip your pattern over, mark top and passenger, and then begin tracing all the passenger pieces out on your U-Cut material. Make sure to leave room for larger parts that may be needed later. Again, using the same motion as designing your patterns, use half cuts. Never close your scissors completely to avoid shredding. When cutting the U-Cut material, it's important to remember to split the black line on the pattern. That'll ensure that your finished product matches your pattern. Again, for that factory look, make sure to take the U-Cut material, trim the corners, and then use your sandpaper to have a nice smooth radius. On all scissor cut edges, use your sandpaper and clean those edges up as well. They should be clean and smooth. Once you've completed cutting your U-Cut material, make sure that the pattern matches the finished product. When you're dealing with adhesive applied products, you can never check too many times. Before your installation, make sure to check all your finished U-Cut parts to make sure they fit properly. Once you've double checked all your parts, One important step is to make sure that you clean the surface of the vehicle properly. Adhesives can be contaminated, so it's important that you get rid of all mud, grime, and grease that might be on your vehicle. Use denatured alcohol and a paper towel to wipe down your vehicle for the final step prior to installation. Now we simply remove the adhesive liner. Starting at the front of the door, go back to your 1/8 inch reveal, keeping a straight line, and make sure to maintain that 1/8 inch reveal in the back of the door. We always work the panel from the top down to the bottom. The U-Cut material has a pressure sensitive adhesive. It's recommended that you use a towel to work out any air that might be trapped behind the panel. I've installed many kits. My recommendation to first time installers is to only peel down 1 inch from the top of each one of your parts, exposing only 1 inch of the adhesive. It's much easier to install that top 1 inch, and you can reach underneath the panel and work from your installation from top to bottom. Once your installation is complete, the final step, and probably the most exciting step, is removing the pre-mask that protects the chrome finish.
Now that you've seen the basic installation for U-Cut products, you can take these concepts and apply them to a lot of different applications. RVs, motorhomes, boats and trailers, there's countless garage applications. Thank you for spending time with me. If you want more information on U-Cut products and projects, go to www.u-cut.net.